Chapter 1. Molly Holmes jumped as rain suddenly lashed against the cottage window. She got up from the saggy old sofa in the living room to peer outside. It was early evening in midsummer, but already the sky was dark and bruised looking, with dense grey and purple clouds. Raindrops pattered against the glass, sliding down it in long, glistening trails. Her gran came to join her at the window. I don't think anyone will be taking a stroll along Horseshoe Bay this evening, Gran joked, slipping an arm around Molly. No paddling, Molly replied with a smile. The sea looked as dark and menacing as the sky, and huge white crested waves were rolling in, crashing onto the sand. She shivered as she thought about how cold the damp sand would feel on bare skin. It's not the nicest evening, is it? Molly's mum commented, coming to stand next to them with Toby, Molly's baby brother, in her arms. Toby had bright red spots on his cheeks and tears were spouting from his eyes. He kept putting his fingers in his mouth and crying, "All right, sweet pig," Molly's mum said, rocking him to and fro. "He's got his first tooth coming through." She explained to Molly, "I think we are probably in for a moisty night from this little man." Molly's dad came in from the kitchen just then, carrying a tray laden with mugs of steaming hot chocolate and a plate of ginger biscuits. He set the tray down, then glanced over at the fireplace, which hadn't been lit while Molly's family had been living in the cottage. "I will go out to the shed and chop a few logs to make a fire soon," he said. "It doesn't feel like summer anymore." "Still, it could be worse," Molly's mum said, rocking Toby. "We could be out at sea. Imagine that on a night like tonight. Thank goodness we will be cozy and warm here instead." Molly smiled to herself, not daring to reply. In truth, she hoped she would be at sea tonight with her new mermaid friends. Since Molly's family had moved in with her gran, Molly had discovered a wonderful secret. Sometimes at night she transformed into a mermaid, the new Secret Mermaid, one of 6 special mermaid shell keepers, just like her gran had been before her. The shellkeeper mermaids all had fragments of the same magical conch shell. Gran had given Molly her creamy white piece on a silver chain the day Molly's family had moved in. Molly's hadn't realized just how amazing a present it was until that first night, when bright pink sparkles had flooded out from the shell and mermaid magic had begun, whisking Molly to the ocean for an adventure she would never forget. Unfortunately, Molly had discovered from the other shellkeepers that a bad mermaid known as Carlotta the Dark Queen had stolen the other 5 pieces of conch to use for her own wicked ends. And as the secret mermaid, Molly had to help the other mermaids find them again. She would already helped her friend Ella get her piece back. But there were still 4 fragments of conch missing, and Molly was desperate to return to the ocean and seek them out. It was frustrating. Molly thought that she couldn't just turn herself into a mermaid whenever she wanted to. She had to wait for the magic to come all on its own. But it did mean that she looked forward to going up to bed each night. She was always hopeful of another mermaid adventure. She turned away from the storm outside the window. "I will just go and get my pajamas on," she told her parents, and Gran gave her a smile. Molly smiled back and went out of the room and up the narrow stairs. She would have loved to know more about Gran's adventures as a secret mermaid all those years ago. But she knew that Gran was forbidden to talk to anyone about them, just as she, Molly, had promised to keep quiet about the mermaids too. Somehow it made it all the more exciting, though hugging such an amazing secret to herself. When she would say goodnight to her parents and Gran, she got into bed and reached out to pick up her special shell. It felt cool and smooth in her palm, and she closed her eyes with a wistful smile. "I hope I can help you soon, mermaids," she murmured. It took a long time for Molly to drift off that night. She tossed and turned in bed, but she kept hearing her brother's plaintive cries of pain from his bedroom next door. The storm was still raging outside too, with rain spattering against the window. Molly could hear the roar of the waves from her bed as they thundered against the rocks. After a while, Molly opened her eyes. "I'm never going to get to sleep," she muttered to herself. But as she said the words, her conch began to glow with its magical pink light, and a mist of tiny golden sparkles appeared around the shell. "Oh!" gasped Molly in excitement, and she shut her eyes at once. The mermaid magic was beginning. That's the end of chapter 1.